Okay, before we get started making everything, I wanted to let you guys know what you need before you even get started, before you start doing anything. So first, make your calculations in SoapCalc. I have mine here to tell me how much of each oil I need to mix and match and all that good stuff. And I put it in this 6-quart container here. I've used this quite a bit, but this will be able to hold all of my oils plus the lye and milk solution. So I'm starting with this big container here. I had some solid oils that I pre-melted. So I'm gonna pour this into the big batch of oil here. I have my lye, and I also have my milk. I, of course, pre-measured my milk based on my calculations and froze them to make sure that when I mix it with the lye, the milk doesn't burn. If the milk burns, then that burn will stay with you throughout your soap, no matter how much fragrance you put over to try to mask it. So it's good to freeze your milk before you add it with the lime. Then we're gonna need our goggles. Let's move this lye back here. We're gonna need our goggles, courtesy of Brambleberry today. I'm gonna need my mask, my gloves, and you need a thermometer. This is the lower piece to my stick blender, but you're gonna need your stick blender. I pre-mix my colors in these little containers and then I just reuse them. You're gonna need several spatulas for each of the colors that you make, depending on how many colors you want to do. And of course, your fragrances, your colors, all that stuff. We'll go through all of that stuff in a bit. And yes, I need my. So this, I put on my, as you can see, I have a lot of hair here. So I put this on before, I had it on before, but I wanted to get a little cute, you know, for the camera. So I will put this back on once I start to get all this together. So here we go. After you have all of your equipment sanitized and ready to go, the first thing to do is to make sure your hard oils are melted. You mix them in with your regular oils, and that goes into a container that is large enough to hold both your oils and your lye mixture. Then you want to heat your oils to at least 150 degrees. Set it to the side and just let it sit. And I'll tell you why a little bit later. In this recipe, we're using unsweetened soy milk. Since we are a plant-based company, our milk soaps are made with milk like soy or oat milk or other plant-based milks. But of course, you can use any milk that you prefer. Just make sure that it doesn't have a high sugar content, because that will definitely accelerate your batter, and in some cases it'll seize it up altogether. So that's no good. We don't want that. I froze these cubes the night before because I found that if I leave them in the freezer for too many days, that affects my batter as well. So I used to pre-make my cubes and then leave them in the freezer, for a few days or a week until I was ready to make my soaps. But that did affect my batter. So my tip to you is just do it the day before. So next, you see that we are slowly pouring the lye over the milk cubes, and it starts to melt the cubes right away.
You want to take your time with this part of the process and mix in a teaspoon to a tablespoon of lye at one time. And then thoroughly mix it together before you add more lye. This part takes about 30 to 40 minutes because you don't want to scorch your milk. The milk is very delicate. I've sped this part of the video up because it takes 40 minutes and we don't have that much time. So, but don't rush this process. 1 tablespoon a max at a time. You'll see that I am constantly checking to make sure that I know what the temperature of my milk is, because I don't want the milk to heat up too fast. In normal soaps, the soap batter or the lye mixture will get well over 180 degrees, well over that. But with soap, your lye and soap mixture will probably not get above 95 degrees if you've taken your time through that process. So that's why we heated our oils first and set that aside, so that by the time this process is done with the milk and the lye, hopefully the oils have already cooled down to about 100 degrees. So you check, make sure, what your temperature of your oil is and what temperature of your lye mix is. And before you start pouring them together or mixing them together, you want them to be within about 10 degrees of each other. That would be ideal. The hottest, the milk and lye mixture will be at its hottest right after you finished mixing it together. So it could be, 90, 95 degrees right after you finish mixing it together. If you need to put your oils in the fridge or a freezer for a few minutes to cool things down, then that's perfectly okay. But after they're, you see that they're within 10 degrees of each other, then it's time to mix the oils and the lye together. For this part of the process, you will need a strainer. And even though your lye has been thoroughly mixed through and thoroughly mixed together, for safety reasons, we want to make sure that you don't have any little lye bits and still left over in your mixture that we can't see right now. So it's just an extra precaution, and I have this little itty bitty strainer for some reason. The last step is to use your stick blender to blend oils and the water together. And the rest of the process is really just like making regular soap. So you'll blend until you get your desired trace and pour your soap in your mold, so forth and so on. So I'm going to stop here because that's the end of how to make the milk part of your milk soap. I hope you have good soaping, everyone. Thank you so much for watching my video, and please remember to like and subscribe. It helps me out so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.